He is putting on a master class in how to take a good brand and totally it up. He made a bunch of phone calls to tell people how he felt about Gunna. Chatty.
At this point, Young Thug is likely wishing he had stayed completely low-key after coming home. Let's break it down because it feels like every single day, a new leaked audio clip of Young Thug pops up. And with each one, his street credibility takes even heavier hits. Most of the heat he's facing comes from one explosive piece of evidence, a 2-hour interrogation tape from way back in 2015. That tape has basically become the smoking gun people point to when accusing him of snitching right from the start. The optics alone have been brutal. As soon as the interrogation began, Thug refused to initial his rights.
When you see
what
like,
I'm saying? Like
a thug and a gunner and everything that they're going through, and you look at other people too, and you,
I said on the record, I said, I am not gang. I do not gang bang.
Almost like he didn't even want the world knowing he was in that room having that conversation. That choice created an instant cloud of suspicion, a warning flag that something damaging was on the horizon. Then he flat out told the detectives he'd say whatever they wanted to hear as long as it didn't reach the public. That alone set the tone, like he understood how explosive it would be if word got out. And just as promised, once the tape rolled, Thug started talking, a lot more than anyone expected. He ended up throwing Pee Wee Roscoe under the bus, literally claiming Roscoe carried Wayne's and was out committing crimes every single day. That's not just loose talk. That's a direct and damaging accusation about another man's criminal activity, one that would have serious consequences in any circle. Then he gave detectives a full play-by-play about the money tensions between Lil Wayne and Birdman, even breaking down how Birdman was allegedly holding up Wayne's album and not paying him the money he was owed. According to Thug, Birdman was lying about the reasons behind it all, leaving Wayne shortchanged and frustrated. He even went as far as bringing up Wayne's own lyrics. The famous line where Wayne raps, "Birdman is an army, I'm a one-man army, and if that dude coming for me, I'm going out like Tony." That alone drew gasps from fans later, because quoting a lyric in that context felt like adding more weight to the detective's case.
You are what you are, buddy. You official on the Wooden and Charleston White team. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm okay with being a snitch. But you is a snitch too.
To make things even worse, Thug hinted that Roscoe was the one who actually pulled off the shooting of Wayne's tour bus. Considering Roscoe ended up getting 10 years for that very case, plenty of people felt like Thug's words lined up a little too neatly, as if he was confirming details investigators already suspected but couldn't fully prove. Later in the interrogation, when the topic shifted to YSL, Thug tried to laugh it off, painting YSL as just a clothing brand and claiming it stood for Young Stone Life or Young Successful Living. He tried to brush off the whole gang label like it was a joke. But looking back, that statement aged badly because years later in his own RICO case, he ended up pleading guilty to involvement in criminal street gang activity, a direct contradiction that made the just a clothing brand defense sound like a punchline in hindsight. By the end of the tape, Thug didn't even want to take the officer's business card, almost like he was fully aware how it might look if he did. Another small but telling sign of how damaging that room and that day could be for his future reputation, but the damage was already done. Once the clip leaked and started circulating online, social media wasted zero time labeling him a rat. Thug tried to do damage control, denying snitching and insisting the video never even got used in court because it wasn't useful to prosecutors.
You have the right to call an attorney right now. You spoke for 2 hours. 2 hours. I stood quiet 2 days just watching it play out. Watching what excuses the people come up with. Every day, every year, every time I come out, y'all move the goalposts further.
His main argument was simple. If they didn't use it, then technically he wasn't cooperating. But the internet wasn't buying it. He even hopped on Twitter, firing off posts defending himself. In one post, he claimed, "Bashing me is only going to mess the rap community up more. I'm the glue to this fake game." But no matter how he tried to spin it, the denials didn't stick and the backlash kept growing. The timing couldn't have been worse either, because as he was trying to fight back against the rat label, more leaks started dropping, each one stacking the deck against him even further, making it impossible to reset the narrative. One of the biggest things people point out in all this is the massive hypocrisy in Young Thug's behavior, especially when it comes to Gunna. Remember, Thug went hard at Gunna after he took that Alfred plea deal in court. Gunna admitted that YSL was a gang and that he had personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL had committed crimes in furtherance of the gang. That plea deal was a turning point in public perception. To Thug, that was crossing the line. He disowned Gunna publicly, tweeting, "Gunna, stop acting like we're friends on the internet. I don't know you, my guy." And when Thug finally dropped his comeback music, he doubled down, rapping lines directly aimed at Gunna, saying, "Brother, you're a rat twin, you a pack." The energy was unmistakable. Thug was calling Gunna out as a snitch and trying to distance himself in the harshest way possible. But here's the thing, both of them ended up taking plea deals. That's the contradiction at the heart of this whole saga, and it's exactly why critics say Thug's credibility has been severely damaged, no matter how loudly he denies it online. Gunna took the Alfred plea, basically admitting the gang exists without admitting personal guilt, while Thug took a straight-up guilty plea in his own RICO case. Both deals, in their own way, acknowledged YSL's criminal activities. So now people are spinning it right back on Thug. As one source bluntly put it, either Gunna is a snitch, and by Thug's own standards, Thug is an even bigger snitch, or neither of them are. Essentially, Thug boxed himself into his own hypocrisy and gave critics an easy headline to run with. Then there's the infamous "yes ma'am" moment.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
Gunna saying those two words in court went viral, and Thug and others used it to clown him as proof of folding under pressure. But fast forward to now, and people are saying, what about Thug's 2-hour interrogation tape? The one where he name-dropped people and went into detail about Birdman, Wayne, and Roscoe. That makes Gunna's "yes ma'am" look small in comparison and has shifted the debate entirely. One Reddit user broke it down like this: Gunna never told on nobody. What he said couldn't even be used against anyone. He secured his way out of a snitching situation, but because they filmed it and leaked it, people just ran with the snitch tag. But Thug is in there telling, giving names, giving stories. That's real rare activity. Statements like that keep fueling the backlash online and making the situation even hotter for Thug. And it's not just fans or random Reddit posters piling on. Rappers and industry figures have started speaking up too, pointing at the contradictions in Thug's image. One name that's been brought up a lot in all this is Kendrick Lamar. See, in another one of those leaked audios, Thug can be heard venting about how he tried to secure a feature from Kendrick, presumably for his 2023 album, Business is Business, and got turned down flat. He sounded bitter about it, asking, "These dudes too big, like I ain't doing no features? Why? Why wouldn't you want to do a feature for a superstar?"
Your first right is you have the right to remain silent. And that's it.
Do you understand that?
You want to initial it?
I don't want to initial.
That's fine. If you don't want to initial it, that's fine. As long as you understand it.
That audio became another talking point because it added a layer of frustration to Thug's public image. A superstar feeling like the doors were closing just when he needed credibility the most. Thug didn't stop there. He claimed he wasn't the only one. According to him, Kendrick also brushed off Lil Durk and Lil Baby, giving them the cold shoulder when they reached out for collaborations. In Thug's view, Kendrick's refusal wasn't about scheduling or music, it was about ego. He felt like Kendrick was intentionally placing himself above other rappers instead of embracing the culture and building with his peers in a way that felt authentic. "You supposed to be a dude blessing Nen?" Thug said in the leaked call, before taking it even further by saying, "That's why these dudes will never be bigger than Drake ever in life." He basically used Drake who he's collaborated with countless times, as the model of what a superstar should be, framing Kendrick as the complete opposite, too self-contained, too ego-driven, too stingy with his features, and too guarded with his brand. Thug even argued that Kendrick's refusal to collaborate was part of why he doesn't have as strong a foothold in certain parts of the culture, like the East Coast streets. According to Thug, fans out there don't fully connect with Kendrick's music because he doesn't move with the community the way other rappers do. This statement added another layer of tension between two very different approaches to fame. And to top it off, Thug took a jab at Kendrick's preference for working with his cousin, Baby Keem. He downplayed Keem's talent and influence, basically suggesting Kendrick was wasting his cosign on Family instead of putting on heavyweights like himself, Dirk, or Baby. That jab sparked major backlash because it painted Thug as entitled, demanding access to Kendrick's platform rather than respecting his creative choices. This whole rant, of course, backfired on Thug in a major way because most people saw it as entitlement. Fans were quick to point out the obvious. Kendrick doesn't owe anyone a feature. And when it comes to Baby Keem, that's literally Kendrick's blood cousin. Of course he's going to prioritize Family first, whether Keem is big enough in Thug's eyes or not. And funny enough, when you look back, it seems like Kendrick may have already addressed this tension in his music long before people even knew Thug had an issue with him. In hindsight, those bars hit harder, sounding less like random flexing and more like warnings aimed at exactly this type of situation. On Squabble Up, Kendrick spits, "Pipe down young, these some whole other politics, be with him and some be in him. That's a lot of be." Then later in the same verse, he adds, "Tell me why the fucks you dudes rap if it's fictional. Tell me why the fucks you dudes fed if you criminal. /A dot, can I get a drop?" I'm like, nah, those bars landed like a hammer when they first dropped. But now, in the context of today's drama, they're seismic. Kendrick's never been the type to go out and directly address rappers in interviews. That's not his style. He lets the music do the talking, building narratives and diss lines directly into his art instead of headlines. And for a lot of fans, those bars now hit totally different. Suddenly, the coded language feels like it was aimed at very specific people and very specific events we're seeing unfold. But it wasn't just Kendrick who had something to say, or at least something to hint at. Enter 50 Cent. And you already know if there's a controversy shaking up hip-hop, 50 isn't going to sit it out. He lives for this type of energy. Right after chatter around Thug's interrogation tape started heating up, 50 dropped a cryptic post on Instagram that had everybody talking. He uploaded a video of a man dancing to the Dramatics classic In the Rain, but it was his caption that caught fire. "This how you gotta move in the streets now because these dudes telling. Be careful now." He never mentioned Thug's name directly, but the timing was razor sharp, almost impossible to ignore. This was just hours after Thug's interrogation footage hit the internet, so fans instantly connected the dots and started reposting it everywhere. And this wasn't even the first time 50 weighed in on the YSL mess. Back in 2023, when the RICO case was still fresh, 50 publicly spoke out about how he intentionally distanced himself from anything gang-related. He said that too many artists get caught up in playing both sides and end up facing consequences they never saw coming. A comment that feels like a prophecy now, considering how this situation has exploded. But the backlash didn't stop there. Another leaked phone call showed Thug dissing Lil Durk, saying, "I already done too much for you, man. Watch out." This came after Durk allegedly refused to clear a verse for Thug's album, sparking a quick reaction from Durk's OTF crew, who wasted no time clowning Thug in public posts and comments. On top of that, an old Durk lyric resurfaced, rappers Goofy Stains, "Pay me for a song, don't clear the verse." Now fans are connecting the dots, claiming it was about Thug all along, deepening the tension and drama across social media. At this point, the criticism of Thug isn't just about the snitching tape anymore. People are painting him as a narcissist, someone who twists words, lies on the fly, contradicts himself whenever convenient, and lashes out whenever he feels other people are shining in their own lane. The narrative online now frames him as bitter, jealous, and entitled, creating a domino effect of backlash he can't escape. This shift has been brutal and relentless. There's even a growing belief that Thug's behavior fractured what was once a united Atlanta rap scene. For over a decade, Atlanta ran hip-hop as a dominant force, but now people accuse Thug of single-handedly breaking that unity with his antics and ego. Fans on forums and podcasts are even calling this a self-inflicted downfall, a term that's trending in commentary videos. The impact is being felt far beyond just the gossip pages. Meanwhile, the irony is clear. Despite Thug trying so hard to sabotage Gunna's reputation, Gunna is the one winning right now. His album dropped and did solid numbers, with critics and fans rallying around him as an underdog. In fact, some are saying Gunna's project may have outsold Thug's naturally, while Business is Business was allegedly boosted by paid streams or inflated numbers. That shift is flipping the entire narrative and putting the spotlight back on quality music. Gunna's image is slowly being repaired, while Thug's is sinking deeper into controversy. People are even comparing Thug's situation to Meek Mill's infamous anti-6ix9ine crusade, where he went overboard chasing the snitch narrative and let it overshadow his music. It ended up hurting Meek's brand more than helping it, and fans are now saying Thug is doing the same thing, obsessing over calling everyone else rats instead of delivering the music they actually want. And that's what a lot of voices in the culture are now saying. If Thug wants to recover, the only real path forward is to let the snitch narrative go, forgive Gunna, and just focus on making great music again. But right now, instead of building bridges, he looks like a bitter man burning them, isolating himself further, and risking the entire foundation he spent years building. At this point, Young Thug faces a crossroads. His reputation, music, and alliances all hang in the balance. Will he rebuild by focusing on his art, or keep spiraling deeper into controversy? The culture is watching closely. Like and subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns and updates on this unfolding story.